I wanted to ask you about something that people still debate online, as I see. So I want to clear it up. Were you auditioning for Kiss, but was it Wicked Lester, or how was it? How was the story?
Well, they were transitioning from Wicked Lester.
Aha, okay.
So where I live in New York City, I was babysitting for a guy who was an attorney, a music business attorney, and his client was a producer named Ron Johnson, who produced the Wicked Lester album. And he, one day when I was babysitting for his daughter, he said to me, "Are you in a band right now?" Because he would hear me play guitar in the building. And I'd say, "No, I'm looking for a band." He said, "Well, I represent a guy who's producing a band, and the band's called Wicked Lester." So he gave me the phone number of either Gene or the producer. But I made a phone call and I was invited. Well, they came down, Gene and Paul came down to see me play.
Yeah.
June 6, 1972. I was playing with a band called Scout at a church social event.
Uh-huh.
Don't ask me why, but they asked me to play with them. So I did, and then Gene and Paul came down, and I met them, and they invited me to a rehearsal, which I did 3 or 4 times. I jammed with them, and I never heard back. That was it. But they weren't called Kiss. In fact, they told me specifically they were breaking the band up. The band was not going to be called Wicked Lester, and they hadn't figured out yet what it was going to be called. And that was in June of 72. By September of 72, which is just 3 months later, they hired Ace. And at that point, they invited me to the Loft, and I saw them rehearse at the Loft. I saw them actually probably play the very first time they ever played their whole album as Kiss.
Whoa.
With heavy Marshall amplifiers. Yeah. And I sat there and went, wow. So all they had was a bed sheet behind them with the words Kiss written on it.
They still were without makeup, probably.
Yeah, well, they were just rehearsing in a loft, playing for the so they weren't going to wear. But I said, "What's the deal?" And they said, "We're going to wear makeup, but we haven't figured it out yet." So yeah.
So they were going into the glam thing that was.
More like shock rock-ish kind of thing. Yeah, apparently, so not feminine at all. Not looking like not like Sweet, for example, or Motley Crue or Poison or any of that. The LA glam stuff. It was more kabuki theater, like Japanese kabuki theater. Yeah. But they still hadn't. It wasn't until November, I think, when they started to put that stuff on. But they were playing at a club called the Daisy in Amityville, Long Island, and I never went down to the Daisy, so I didn't see them there. But that's what they were doing at the time.
Yeah. So you formed Twisted pretty fast after that.